How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're starting Daf Tzadi Gimel. Yeah, why not? Daf Tzadi Gimel of Masechta BavaKama. Friends. We're gonna wrap up the 8th parak of Masechta BavaKama. We're gonna start the 9th parak. Parak 9 out of 10. Exciting times at Babylon Talmud. However, we're more than 3/4 of the way through BavaKama. It's a big deal. Big deal. Big old deal. Yeah, in another week, we'll be on Daf Kuf. Daf Kuf. That's big. I feel like Kuf is that's like when you know you're in like the final stretch. Except for like Masechta Shabbos or whatever, which is like 150 something pages. It's just like, all right, yeah, we still got a ton left, but you know, 100's like a milestone. That's like a milestone. So we'll still have a few weeks left after that, but already I feel like it's the final stretch. It's going to be like that with Bava Metzia as well. But Bava Basra is the biggest, the most numerous pages, the most numerously paged Masechta in Shas. I believe it's 176 daf, I think. Yeah. Right. That's the thing. There's like, I think 3 of the biggest things are like 176, I think, right? Like Parshas Naso is 176 psukim. Bava Basra is 176 daf. I think there was like one more that was 176 something, no? What else could that be? I don't know. Is there another longest something that's 176? Parshas Naso, there's Bava Basra. Is that it? Is only 2, or am I missing something? I feel like I'm missing something, but I'm not really sure. Oh, how many psukim are in Kuf Yud Tes? Tilim. What's 19 times how many letters on the alphabet? 22? 26? I can't remember. Well 19 times 10 would be 190. Times 2 380. No, that's too much. Wait, what? Wait. No, but it's 19. Wait, what? No, wait, what? How did I do that? No, 8 times 10 would be 80. Oh yeah, this talker might be it. 8 times 10, what am I doing again? 8 times 10 is 80, times 2 is 160, and then, I don't remember, if it's 2, so if it's 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet, so then Kuf Yud Tes is also 176 psukim. The Daf Kuf Yud Tes and Tilim. Let's see, Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Daled, Hey. Vav, Zayin, Ches, Tes, Yud. Chaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samach, Ayin, Pei, Tzadi, Kuf, Reish, Shin, Taf. Yeah. Okay. 22 times 8, if I did my math right, is 176. Friends, let's jump in. Okay, so we're going to finish Daf. So we're going to finish the 8th parak of BavaKama, parak HaChovel, and we're going to start the 9th parak of BavaKama, parak HaGozel Eitzim. So, you think you can handle it? I know you can handle it. You handled Yivamis, you can handle this. You can handle anything. Handle Yivamis, you can handle anything. Alright, let's go weiter. Homer Sami is Eini v'chule. So we're going to start in Daf Tzadi Gimel Maralef, about halfway through the Yomud. Okay, I think it gets kind of technical over here towards the end, but what can I tell you? Homer Sami is Eini v'chule. Alright, so if a guy... Oh, I think I had come up with a good word. I was thinking the other day, there's victim. I was thinking maybe the opposite of victim is aggressor. That's like it's a starker word. Aggressor. So, if a potential victim says to a potential aggressor, plop out my eye. Okay? And then the aggressor obliges. So the aggressor is chayiv. And then we had said this like interesting thing. Where am I? We had said this like interesting thing. So I'm going to read the Mishnah. A potential victim says to a potential aggressor, Kateya es yodi, plop off my hand. Shaber es ragli. Wait, no, Sami es ini, plop out my eye. Kateya es yodi, plop off my hand. Shaber es ragli, break my leg. Now, when we talk about breaking a leg, I don't know if I've said this already a few times, but I wasn't sure the other day. Is like breaking your leg temporary? Is it permanent? Breaking the leg here, I think it's talking about like a permanent damage kind of break. So yeah, break my leg permanently. Chayiv. So the aggressor will be chayiv. Amanas liftor, which is, we have to understand what this means, amanas liftor, but chayiv, still the aggressor would be chayiv. Okay, so now, where are we? Okay, so we're back in the Gemara. So now this next bit is a little weird. Just like these next few lines, like I'm not exactly sure how to. It's like a weird way to read them. I can't say I'm reading them right. You gotta like skip words, change words. I think so. I'm just gonna read it the way I think it should be read, in a way that I think makes sense. So I'm there with Asi by Chama. Okay, first of all it says Rava. I think we're going to change that to Rabba because we can see a different opinion of Rava in a second. So I'm there with Asi by Chama the Rabba. Maishna Reisha, Maishna Sefer. So how come, right? So back in the Gemara, back in the Mishnah, so if the potential victim says to a potential aggressor, plop out my eye, plop off my hand, break my leg permanently, so then we say the aggressor is chayiv. And even if there's this like, this, you'll be potter or I'll be potter, this potter kind of angle, he's still going to be chayiv. Yet, kares ksusi, tear my garment, shabres kadi, break my jug, chayiv, the aggressor is chayiv, amanas liftor, but if there's like this potter angle, potter. So then, he's potter. So how come by this kind of permanent damage to his body, there is like no potter angle, yet when it comes to like rending a garment or breaking a jug, there is a potter angle? That's the Gemara Shaila. So Amar, the Rav Asi Bar Chama the Rabba, Mashna Reisha, Mashna Sefer. What's the difference between sort of the physical harm to oneself and the harm to one's stuff? So Amalei, so Rabbi responds, Reisha, okay, so now you gotta, this is a whole mess. So basically, Reisha l'fishada mochel al tsa'aro, I think you gotta say. I think you gotta say al tsa'aro. Yeah, it's weird. And then you change, and then you skip a bunch. It's pretty messed up. But so Amalei Reisha l'fishada other mochel al tsa'aro, right? Well, because in the first scenario, we're talking about plopping off a hand, plopping out an eye, breaking a leg. That's painful. A person is not going to let that jive. He's not going to let that, whatever, jive, sure, why not? And therefore he's going to be chayiv. The aggressor is always going to be chayiv, no matter what. Okay, now skip like a line or two, find where it says Ditanya, it's the second word on the line, and change it to Vehatanya. But Vehatanya, but we learn in the Brisa, Hakeni, Ptsaeni, hit me, hurt me, Amanas liftor. So the assumption for now, we're going to see that there's another option, but the assumption for now is Amanas liftor means that the potential victim is assuring his potential aggressor that the potential aggressor will be potter, right? So we're saying in our Mishnah that when the potential victim says, plop out my eye, plop off my hand, hit me or break my leg permanently, you will be potter. It makes no difference. The aggressor will still be chayiv. Yet, when he says, rend my garment, break my jug, you will be potter, and then the aggressor breaks the jug or rends the garment, so then the aggressor will in fact be potter. So we want to know what's the difference between the physical harm to oneself versus his stuff. So we said, well, one is not mochel on his pain. But is that really true? Hakeni, ptsaeni, hit me, hurt me, almanas liftor, and you will be potter. Potter. So in that case, it's taka potter. Now, if Rabbah said that it's all about pain, so then why would he be potter for hurting the victim? Ishtik. Rabbah was silent. Omar, and then Rabbah says, Midish milach baha. Ravasi bar Chama, have you heard anything about this? Amalei. So Ravasi bar Chama responds, Achi Omer of Sheshes, so said of Sheshes, Mishum Pagam Mishpache. Okay, because of the Pagam Mishpache. I think what that means is that, like, the Yentis in the bungalow colony on Shabbos afternoon, that if they see somebody with a plopped off hand, they're not going to want to marry him off to their daughters. So that's the difference. So you can't be mochel for plopping off a hand or an eye, but just like giving a black and blue mark, that right, a bruise, that right, that's a different story. The Yentis intelligence services. They know everything. Lemaisa, I think that's part of I think that was part of some of the early successes of the Mossad. Was that the Yidden are a bunch of Yentis, and they're all over the place, and they get their hands on juicy intel. Wasn't that one of the initial big wins for the Mossad? Was when they got the what was it the speech? Oh gosh, I'm gonna get this wrong, but it was the speech of Gorbachev or something to break up the Soviet Union, or I probably have no clue what I'm talking about. But there was some important communist speech or something, and nobody was able to find out what it was about. And some Yenta, some Yidela in Russia found the speech and made a copy of it and sent it to the Mossad or something, and then they were able to forward it to the Americans, and they're holy cow, the Mossad can do stuff. I feel there's a sprinkle of truth in what I just said, or possibly more than a sprinkle. So the Yentis, they should call them Mossad. They should really call it the Yentis intelligence services. All right. So, oh wow, we should really look that up. I think that there's truth to that. I think. Because of Pagam Mishpacha, the Pagam Mishpacha, fine. Rava Amar says, Rava Mishum she'ein adam moichel al rosh ha'evarim shelo. Okay, so Rava says, well, the reason why, when he says plop out my eye, he's going to be chayiv, the aggressor is going to be chayiv no matter what, because nobody is gonna really agree to let you plop out their eye or plop off a hand. So therefore, you're going to be chayiv no matter what. But to give me a dead arm, that's a different story. You might do that. Okay. Now here comes Rabbi Yochanan with an interesting opinion. So Rabbi Yochanan's take is that actually this isn't the potential victim who's doing all the yapping. He's doing part of the yapping, and the potential aggressor is now is negotiating. So the potential victim says, plop out my eye. Now the potential aggressor is wait a second. If I plop out your eye, I'm going to be in big trouble. If I plop out your eye, am I going to be potter? And then the potential victim says, yes, you will. So that's the dialogue, right? Amanas Liftor is actually the potential aggressor negotiating with the potential victim that no charges should be pressed against him. So Rabbi Yochanan Omer says, Rabbi Yochanan, yesh hein, this is kind of, I can't say I 100% understand this. If I understand it correctly, then I understand it correctly, but I might not understand it correctly. So, you've been warned. Just a bit of a, what's that called? I feel it's not a caveat, but it's another word that just bit of a, not a warning, but okay. I might not know what I'm talking about. But I might. Wow, I feel basically everything I've said over the past 5 minutes is I might not know what I'm talking about, but I might. So Rabbi Yochanan says, Rabbi Yochanan, yesh hein shehu kelav, yesh lav shehu kehein. There are yeses that are be'etzim like no's, and no's that are be'etzim like yeses. So it sounds like Okay, let's go back there for a second. We also learn a verse like this. Hakeni, ptsaeni. So in the case of hit me, wound, I don't know if ptsaeni means wound me, but that's what I'm saying. Hit me, wound me, amanas liftor. And then the potential aggressor says, wait, if I do this, will I be potter? V'amrlo hein. And he says, yes. So he said in that case, he would actually be potter. Hare hein shu kilav. Wait, what does that mean again? Dag nabbit. Wait, so that's I would have thought, that's a yes, that's a no? He says, am I going to be potter? And he says, yes. That means no. What? I would think that means yes in that case. Wait, 1 second. Okay. So right, exactly. So the point is like so I think if I understand correctly, it depends how he says it, right? So meaning, if the potential victim says hit me, and then the potential aggressor says wait, will I be potter? So depending on how the potential victim says yes. So if he says yes, honestly, so then like yeah, he'll be potter. But if he says I don't know yes like in a sarcastic way. So then it actually means no. Okay. Kares ksusi, rend my garment, amanas liftor, and then the potential aggressor says, wait, will I be potter varmlo lav? And he says, no. Hari lav shu kehain. So I think, again, depending on how he says it, so if he says it like sarcastically, then he will be potter if he tears the thing. But if he says it straight, then he will be chayiv. Let's go weiter. Shaberes kadi kares ksusi chayiv. So if the potential victim says, "Rend my garment, break my jug," so then the potential aggressor will be chayiv. Veramini, we have a contradiction. It is also confusing. Dag nabbit. Yeah, it just like gets like confusing at the end of this. I think you have to like read into a lot of stuff. That's the point. Like we have to read into a whole bunch into Rabbi Yochanan just now. We got to read into this also. So I have to like remember how to read into it. That's the thing. You got to like remember all the context that's missing that you got to like, provide. So lishmor v'lo la'abed, lishmor v'lo l'kro, lishmor v'lo l'chalik la'aniyim. So basically, let me just look it up again. Right, so the pasuk, what does the pasuk say? It says, "Kiyitin ish arei u'kesav v'kelim lishmor." Okay, so we talk about like a shomer chinam is going to be chayiv for posheya, but that it so long as it's given to him to watch, right? It needs to be given to him to watch, and then if like he's negligent, so he's going to be chayiv, right? So lishmor, but it has to be given to him to watch, v'lo la'abed. But if it's given to him to like get rid of it, or lishmor v'lo l'kro, if it's given to him to tear it up, lishmor v'lo l'chalik laniyim, or if it's given to him to like disperse to the poor people, so then he's going to be potter if anything happens to it, because it was given in order to like get rid of. Okay, fine. Wait, and so therefore the question is, how come the Mishnah is saying that if he says break my jug and he breaks it, or tear my garment and he tears it, why is he chayiv? You're only chayiv if it was given to you to guard, but not if it was given to you like to destroy. So Amar Ravuna says, Ravuna lo kasha, it's no problem. Ado asli yade, ado lo asli yade. It depends. If it came into his possession prior to, right, meaning if it initially came into his possession to guard it, well then yeah, he can't break it. But if it initially came into his possession in order to break it, so then you're going to be potter. So our Mishnah where he's chayiv is talking about a situation where he initially got it in order to guard it, so then he can't break it. Amalei Rabba, but then Rabba says, but lishmor dasaliyade mashma. I have to look this up again. That when the pasuk says kiyitain isha re'eu kesav v'kelim lishmor, so it says kiyitain before lishmor. Right, so meaning it implies that it's the pasuk is talking about a situation where it was first given to him, and then it says lishmor v'lo la'abed, lishmor v'lo l'kro, or whatever it is, lishmor v'lo l'chalik la'aniyim. Kilu, even once he had already received it, it could still be that he'd be potter. That he has to receive it and then I guess continue guarding it, but not if he received it and then was told to tear it up. So therefore, right, so we said be potter there, so then why does our Mishnah say that he'd be chayiv? Because even in a situation where he got it in advance to guard it, if he's then told to break it, he should be potter. Okay. So where am I? So Amalei Rabba lishmor da asli yade mashma. Elo Amar Rabba says Rabba ha the asli yade. So no, it could both be talking about a situation where it initially came into his hands to guard it. V'lokashan so pama da asli yade b'torah shmira ha da asli yade b'torah kriya. It depends. Why was it initially given to him? I guess if it was initially given to him to break it, so then he'd be potter. If it was initially given to him to guard and then he was told to break it, so then I guess it's a problem. I guess you have to understand. I guess you understand the pasuk when it's given to him, I guess, and it depends how it was given to him. Okay, I hope I got that right or close to right. So then I guess when it's given to him to guard, so then he'd be chayiv if he breaks. So if it's given to him to break, then he'd be patur. So I feel like the end of last parak also, I had no clue what was flying. All right. Fine. How Arnika did stock in the Osi le Pumbedisa? There was a wallet for charity that came to Pumbedisa. After the Rav Yosef Gabiahu Gavra, the Rav Yosef, because Rav Yosef was in charge of the tzedakah, so he put it he stored it by a certain fellow who I guess was a responsible fellow, I guess, or was assumed to be responsible. Pashaba, but this fellow was negligent. Also ganve ganvua, and then thieves thefted it. Thieves stole it. Chayve Rav Yosef, and Rav Yosef, said that this guy was liable. He was negligent. Abai says to Rav Yosef, what about, right, that the Brisa says that you only chayiv if it's lishmor, but not if it's to give out to the aniyim. And here it was dafka being stored there to give out la'aniyim. So amalei aniyim de pumpedisa make its kites to lishmorhu. Yes, but the aniyim in pumpedisa, they have specific amounts that they get, right? It's not just like to disperse to aniyim, but like they have, I guess, everyone has their amount that they receive, and therefore it's more like he's, I guess, guarding it for them as opposed to like just taking money to disperse randomly. But I guess he was considered to be like guarding it on behalf of these people, and that's why he was chayiv. Wow, that got extremely technical at the end over there. Says the Mishnah goes al eitzim va'aso and kelim. Oh, so we're starting now the 9th parak of Masechta BavaKama. Perak HaGozel Eitzim. What's the next parak called? Is that also called a Gozel? Next parak is called HaGozel U'Maichil. And this is called HaGozel Eitzim. I think it's sometimes called HaGozel Kamen, HaGozel Basra, maybe. Ooh, Daf Kuf Yud Beis Amud Aleph looks like a big Amud. Ooh, that's going to be a big old Daf. Alright. Where's Kuf Yud Gimel? Ooh, wow, look at this. Bunch of big Dafs in BavaKama. Oh, look at Kufida, but that might just be like Garata or something. Alright, let's go weiter. So one second, I just gotta scratch my finger. Okay. Hagozal eitzim bason kelim. So if you have a shtunk and he steals wood and he makes the wood into vessels, okay. Tzemer bason begodim, he steals wool and he makes them into garments. Mishalim kishas hagzela, he does not return the vessel, right? So Shimon stole wood or wool from Reuven. Shimon does not return, he made it now into a vessel or into a garment. He does not return the garment or the vessel to Reuven. He returns the amount at the time of the theft. He returns money, the amount that it was worth at the time of the theft. Gozel parimu beres v'yolda. If he stole a pregnant cow and then it gave birth, Rachel tuna so I got an email from Aaron Brody, and he told me that a female sheep is not called a sheepa. It's called I don't even know how to pronounce it though, so how does that help? A U or an U? I feel like it's probably a U, but I'm going to call it an U. How does that sound? An U. So Rachel Tuna Vigaziza, a U that had wool on it, and then he shore the wool. So Betsy made a change to the animal, right? The change was pregnant, it's no longer pregnant. Well, he didn't necessarily make that change, but there was a change that happened. It was pregnant, it's no longer pregnant. It was all woolly, it's no longer woolly. So Mishalim Dmei Para Omedes Leileit, so he pays back the value of a cow that is about to give birth, V'Dmei Rachel HaOmedes Ligazes, and the value of an U that is about to be shorn. Gozal Paravinis Abra Etzlo V'Yolda, if he stole a cow and then it got pregnant and gave birth while in his stealership, Vinit on, where am I? Rachel vinita na etzlo v'gazuza, or he stole a shorn ewe, and then it grew a bunch of wool, and then he shore it again. Mishalim kshas hagzela, so again, he pays like at the time of the theft, with the value like at the time of the theft. Ze'aklal, this is the rule, kol agazlonin, mishalim kshas hagzela, all of the gazlins, they pay like at the time of the gazela, meaning they pay the value and not, they don't necessarily give back the exactly what they stole. Fine. Assuming that, I think the point is assuming that there was some kind of a shinu, some kind of a change that took place. Says the Gemara, Amr, they say, Eitzim va'ason kalim in. So if you take wood and you make them into vessels, so we're saying in that case, so you don't return the vessel, you return the value. Shifon, low, but if you take raw wood and you sand it down into like planks of wood, so then you would give back the plank. Now the assumption is that whatever you're building in our Mishnah, when it says Eitzim Vason Kalim, I think the point is that you are stealing already like sanded, like already formed wood, like you're stealing like what's that called? Like not like a slab of wood, but a thing of like you buy at the Home Depot already like cut up and everything like that. A wooden plank, not a plank. I don't think it's a plank. It's like a like long rectangle, like kind of like a linguine, kind of like a linguine wood. You put in a big pot, you can make like a wooden linguine kind. You know what I'm talking? Is that a good enough description of what I'm talking about? A wooden linguine. So, sorry friends, we're stuck with that. A wooden linguine. Alright. Yeah, again, my apologies. But the thing is, when you take a wooden... when you take a wooden linguine and you build it into something, so you don't make a change to the wooden linguine, well, to the wood. So the wood, you take a piece of wooden linguine and you knock it into a house. The wood be'etzem stays the same. Just you like made it to a house. So that's the bigger chiddush, meaning, but to take like a tree and like, shape it into pieces of linguine, so oh gosh. So in that case, so that's a pretty big shinui. That's a bigger shinui than taking this wooden linguine and just putting it in a house. All right. Okay, Amri Eitzim Basan Kalim in. So we're saying, okay, one second. So if you take the linguine and you make it into a vessel in, so then that would be a shinoi, and you wouldn't return the vessel, you would just return the value. But shifon, low. But if you would take a tree, if you take some wood and, shape it and sand it into linguine, so then you would return the linguine. Tzamer vason bigadim, wool, and you make it into, so we're saying if you take wool, that's like already been made into threads and stuff, and you make that into a garment, so then you would not return the garment, you would return the value in libnon lo. But if you took like raw wool and you like whitened it, like processed it, then you would return the actual processed wool. But that doesn't make sense for a mini, right? Because that's the bigger shinui. For a mini, you have a contradiction. Gazal eitzim v'shifon. If you steal like a tree and you make it into linguine, avonim v'sitson, or stones, and you like, what's it called when you like do stuff to stones? I don't know, shape it, but it's cut it, I think, right? Like cutting. If you take like stones and like you cut them, tzemer v'libnon, wool, and you whiten it, pishton v'nikeu, flax, and you like clean it, mishalim kishas hagzela, so then you pay like at the time of the gezela. So you don't return the sort of changed material, you return the value. So Mabayi Tanadidan Katoni Shinui Dirabonon Dehaja V'chol Shekain Shinui Diraisa. No, so Abai says, look, our Mishnah is talking about the less obvious examples, the less extreme examples, and we're saying that it's considered a shinui and the item is not returned, rather the value. Certainly the bigger one. So meaning our Mishnah is talking about dirabanan changes. For example, you take some linguini, wooden linguini, and you build it into a house, but nothing actually changes to the linguini. It stays the same. You just put it in the house. That, and we're saying even that would be considered a change, and you would not return the actual vessel, or I guess you make it into some vessel. So you would not return the vessel. You would return the value. And certainly, if you take a tree and you shape it into linguini, certainly then you would, that would be a shinu de oraisa, and certainly then you would not return the linguini, you would return the value of it. So eitzim basa and kalim. So when we're talking about wood that you make into vessels, be'etzim mishufin, we're talking about already made wooden linguini. Umayniu nisarim, linguini, and nisarim are boards, a wooden board. Okay, linguini is gone, boards, a board. Not as funny, but more accurate. A board. We appreciate humor at Babylon Talmud, but we try to we strive for accuracy. But when we can't be accurate, so then humor is the next best. So boards. Okay, so if you take a board and you put it into some kind of vessel, the shinu dehadu livriyasu, that it's a change that can be unchanged, that it can be undone. The boy mashliflu, you can undo it, and still that would be considered enough of a change that you would not return the vessel, you'd return the value. Tzemer vasan begadim, wool, and you make it into garments. Betzemer tavui, we're talking about the wool that has already been spun into threads. The shinu dehadu livriyasu, you can undo the garment and return the threads. The boy sasule, you can undo the garment. Okay, so we're saying even in those cases it would be considered a shinoi, and you would return the value, not the actual item. And certainly the oraisa shinois, certainly shinu de oraisas, right? Like if you just took raw wool and you whitened it and processed it, certainly you would only return the value. Vitana bara. And the brisa that talks about raw wool and whitening it, raw trees and making them into boards, so that's talking about shinu d'oraisa. Yeah, certainly, would be you would return the value, not the actual item. V'tana bara shinu d'oraisa katoni v'shinu d'rabanon loy katoni. It's not talking about shinu d'rabanon. Rav Ashi Omar tanadido nami shinu d'oraisa katoni. Rashi says that actually our Mishnah also is talking about the oraisa changes. Eitzim vason kelim buchane tainu shifon. For example, we talk about wood that you're making into vessels. We're talking about, for example, making a pestle, that you take some wood and you sand it down into a pestle. Semer vason bigodim namte, taking wool and making them into garments. We're talking about felt, that I guess you take raw wool and just kind of process it somehow and becomes felt. Danu shinui de lo hadar, that these are both shinuis that do not return. Period. Okay, fine. V'libun mi'ave shinui, but is it really true that whitening wool would actually be considered a shinui? Right? We said that taking wool and whitening it would be a shinui. Is that true? We have a contradiction. Lo hispik litno lo ad shetzvo. When it comes to reishis agez, that when you shear your sheep, you take the first shearings, well, you take some of the shearings and you give it to a kohen. So if, however, you made a change to the wool, such as you dyed it, potter, then you don't give it to the kohen because you made a change to it. Libno v'lo tzvo chayev. But if you whitened it, but didn't color it, didn't dye it, so then you would still have to there would still be the mitzvah of reishis hagez, of giving some of the wool to the kohen. So we see that whitening it, right, dyeing it would be a change, and you would no longer have a mitzvah to give it to the kohen, but not whitening it. Whitening it, you would still have the mitzvah of reishis hagez. Rabbi lo kasha. Rabbi says no kasha. Or Reb Shimon or Rabban. It's machlokes Reb Shimon and the Rabban. Reb Shimon says it is a shinui. The Rabbanan say it's not a shinui, whitening the wool. The Tanya is, we learn in the Brisa, Gozazoi tva'o ve'argo. If he shore the wool, he spun it into threads, and he weaved it into a garment. Ein mitzdaref. So then it would not be. There would no longer be a mitzvah reishis. It would not be chayiv the mitzvah reishis hagez. Libno, but if he whitened it, Reb Shimon Omer ein mitzdaref. Reb Shimon says it would be right. There would no longer be the mitzvah reishis hagez. Right, because it would be a shinui. A chacham mitzdaref, whereas the chacham say no, it would not be a shinui, and it would still be mitzdaref for reishis hagez. It would still be chayiv mitzvah reishis hagez. So when we say it's a shinui, it's like Reb Shimon. And when we say it's not a shinui, it's the chacham. Rava almost says Rava ha v'ha Reb Shimon. Both brises are Reb Shimon. V'lokasha, it's no question. Hadinapse naputse or the sarke saruke. So it depends how exactly he is processing this wool. How exactly he's processing this wool. Depends if he uses it like his hand to clean it versus like a comb. If it's his hand, so then it would not be a shinui. But if he uses like a proper comb, then it would be a shinui. Reb Chia bar Oven Omer had the chavre chavure or the kavre kavruye. Okay, so it depends if you like just whiten it or if you use like some kind of like sulfur or something, then that would be more of a shinui. Okay, so now hashta, you can skip the next two words. I don't see if it makes it much of a difference, but that goes. Habach says to skip them. Tseva l'Reb Shimon lo have shinui, libun have shinui. But then 1 second, does this make sense? That Reb Shimon would be saying that dyeing wool would not be a shinui, but whitening it would. The time that we learn in a brisa, gozaz rishin utzvao. So if as he was shearing the wool, he was dyeing it, rishin utvao, whereas he was shearing the wool, he was spinning it into threads, rishin varago, or he was weaving it into garments, ein mitzdarif, then it will not be mitzdarif. Reb Shimon ben Yehuda over Reb Shimon, says Reb Shimon ben Yehuda, the name of Shimon, tzvao mitzdarif, that if he dyes it, so then it would still be chayiv in reishis hagez. So dyeing it is not considered a shinui. So we're saying that according to Reb Shimon, whitening it would be considered a shinui. Now the assumption is that dyeing it would be more of a shinui than whitening it, and yet we saw in this brisa just now that if you dye the wool, it would still be chayiv in reishis hagez, i.e., it's not a significant shinui. So we're saying dyeing is not a significant shinui, then how could whitening be a significant shinui? Amar Abai says, Abai lo kasha, harabonon ali b'Reb Shimon, harab Shimon ben Yehuda ali b'Reb Shimon. So Reb Shimon, where am I? So Reb Shimon ben Yehuda, quoting Reb Shimon, is saying that I guess dyeing would not be a shinui, and then I guess certainly whitening also would not be a shinui, but the rabbis would say that dyeing and whitening would be considered a shinui. Rava Omar, Rava says, L'olam lo plige rabbanon ole de Reb Shimon ben Yehuda. No, look, everybody agrees when it comes to understanding Reb Shimon's opinion, v'shani tseva, that dye is actually different. Hol v'yochol la'aviro al yedei tzfon, that you can remove the dye by way of some kind of a detergent. And when we say that if he dyed it, then it's potter from Reishis Hagez v'ukimna k'divrei Yaakov bekala ilan d'lo over. That's Davka talking about a dye that you cannot remove with detergent. So if it's a dye, so everybody agrees that Reb Shimon says that if you're whitening it in such a way that it cannot be undone, so that would be a shinoi. And if you're dyeing it in such a way that it cannot be undone, then that would also be a shinoi. But when we say that if you dye it, so it would not be a shinoi, it would still be chayv Reishis Hagez. That's talking about some kind of dye that can be removed with detergent. All right, very nice, friends. That was Daf Tzadi Gimel of Masechet BavaKama. We finished the 8th parak. We started the 9th parak. Hagozel Eitzim. We'll be talking about shinois and what exactly you return. And this is going to be the subject. I don't know. I've done the next few dafs. At least of the next few dafs. And all right, peace out.